truly, and welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is US Comics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. Did that to throw you off? We are John and Charlie Rivera, co-founders of US Comics. Charlie, like your beard, brother.
Thank you.
Happy Comic Book Day.
Happy Comic Book Day to you and to everyone listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Murray Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please hit that comment section like the Witch Army is in full retreat and the demons are at the door. Never has homework been as fun as this show.
Look, we just want to be. That's right, Mike, and you'll love it. Sarge is part of the Fey Army, and he's a card-carrying member. What's up, Sarge? What's up, Cousin Paul? What's up, all you other nerds and nerdettes out there? Look, I want to make something very, very clear. When something comes across my desk, right, it is not my responsibility even, though I do take my responsibilities very seriously. Ask multiple illegitimate children of mine running around. I take it as an obligation. I need to hit the keys. I need to call them up. I need to smoke signal. You do what you gotta do to let the people know. And in this case, the people is sweet, sweet Charlie boy. You need to let them know when there is some comic book goodness out there in the world. And much to most people's recollection, much to their chagrin, this is indeed first mostly
True.
a comic book podcast. We talk about the movies, we talk about the shows, we talk about the social commentary, we talk about the strikes, we talking about fashion, we talk about sexual positions. We do what we got to do, but at the end of the day, the source, the font, as it were, the balls of everything is comic books. That's where it all starts. So when something comes across my purview, some dope, new, not really seen that much comic, like Edenwood, I let Charlie boy know because he's got to know. And I have to admit, so I have gotten a little bit of, I wouldn't say pushback,
Feedback?
input, feedback, whatever the case might be. You know what? You like everything. You like everything.
I hate this take.
And here's the problem.
It's an ice cold take. Because I tell you jokes all the time, and you're like, "That's not funny."
Well, but that's again.
You're not actually my brother. Stuff like that.
You know, it's questionable. But it's not that I like everything. What it is, yeah, Cousin Paul. We heard.
Fun fact: Cousin Paul invented the oblong thing. I'll let you fill that in as you want. Yeah.
Rocky hard problem is what he likes to be.
That's a Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's the Halloween season's over.
But that being said, what it is, I'll tell Charlie to his face at full volume if he's talking about something like, nope, that sucks. I'll tell it to him all day long. I'll tell you, motherfuckers out there, if you like something, I'm like, nope, that's hot doo-doo, and you're dum-dum, and here's the reason why. That's fine. That's all well and good, and I'm more than willing and able to do so. But
thanks, you're doing the Lord's work, shitting on people's bluffs.
What they say. But if I'm gonna broach a topic, it's not gonna be, I should say, hey, you know what sucks? Hey, you know what I hate? No, that's boring.
Well, that's
a dick move.
It's
I'm not gonna do that.
It's also.
I want to talk about shit that I like.
Yeah. What I think the last decade of the internet has been so built around this idea of the only thing people want to talk about is what they hate, and I never
stop things down.
I never understood it.
Like there's some kind of equity and like poo-pooing something that somebody.
Well, I say it all the time.
Let me say this real quick for the record. November 1st. This is the time of recording right now. If it brings you any kind of happiness, if it stops you from shooting up a mall, if it prevents you from kicking your dog down the steps, go ahead and decorate your house for Christmas today.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who doesn't like it? Right? I have my own schedule.
I mean,
people do what they gotta do.
I don't have a magic 8 ball, but if I were to shooka it, I think you're enough of your mother's son. Don't shake it like that. That out
So
of context
that's how you gotta
did
do it.
not look like dice throw. That looked like you were doing the thing, Crabble Apple, that fucking Paul invented. If I were to put money on it,
Yeah.
next year, I think the Casa de Rivera is probably going to be decorated for Christmas by November 5th.
You know what? Let's
If I were to gamble,
let's say the first full weekend of November, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, I like talking about stuff that I actually like,
God forbid.
and if it's new, all the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the better. So Tony Daniel, who is a very, very accomplished comic book creator, mostly really known for the art, but look, everybody knows that behind every good artist, there is a little writer just peeking over their shoulder saying, "Hey, I've got ideas too." Especially when you have to draw something, you're
Yeah.
like, "Well, this is fucking dumb."
My theory is he got
Yeah.
paid a lot of money to beautifully illustrate dog shit,
Right, like,
and just the whole time was angry.
I could do that. Are you fucking kidding me? But in any case, our boy Tony S. Daniel, if you're nasty, he sat.
I call him CBS. We're very good friends.
That's a problem. He sat back and said, "Hey, I got ideas too. I'm smart. Not like they say, like dumb. No. He's no Fredo, guys.
I hope he's
That's
so
a
big
god-
about this because of
that's
the
a
title,
godfather.
and it was like, you fucks.
I'm gonna take you fishing, motherfucker." Sorry, deep Godfather cut there. But that all being said, again, Tony S. Daniel, best known for stuff that is not of his own creation, has gone ahead and put his creation foot forward with Edenwood coming to us live hot off the presses from Image Comics. Now, I do want to bring everybody immediately up to.
You stopped me like I was about to say
I know,
something. I'm just agreeing. I'm like, that is a company.
Don't nod. You're stealing my shine. So that being said, I want to catch people up because look, this is not a title that has established IP. However, it does have themes
Yes.
that you are familiar with and that are riotously and appropriately popular right now. And if I come to you and I said, "Hey, Charlie, you look like you're related to me. You'll probably like this."
Yeah.
If I say
Minus
to
the
you,
mustache.
there is a post-apocalyptic USA that we're living in,
Yeah, I'm in.
and you're in the midst. It's tough to say, and you're in the midst of a. Spit on everybody. That's fine. That's fine. A little 3D action for you if you're watching this. Um, you're in the midst of a war between humankind, between demons, and fucking card carrying lock and load witches. Woo, lordy Claudy, I am all the way in even before I saw a single panel of this admittedly beautiful
Yeah.
comic. It's the witches versus the demons. Humans have a little something to say about it also. It is beautifully depicted. It is action packed, and this was truly. I don't know if you had this experience, Charlie, but I'm going to kick it to you right now. But this is one of those number one comics where I immediately got it.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, cool. I know exactly what he's looking to do here.
Yeah.
I know the scope of the storytelling that he's going to hit us with. It looks dynamite. The color is vibrant. It is completely understandable, right, for anybody who doesn't want necessarily crazy highbrow stuff, but maybe a couple of little Easter eggs peppered in there for common common lore that you might have in the back of your head. But it is just one of those comics that the best thing I can say about it is when you read that last page, when you hit that last panel, you're like, "Oh shit, no place else to go from here." Immediately, you just want more.
So
It's one of those things where I'm like, "Fuck, I wish I picked this up 2, 3 issues into the run so I could just go on to the next."
yeah,
Best thing I could say. I loved it.
this was one of those comics, and I'm going to begin at the end because this is a comic that I immediately need a physical copy of it
Sure.
to seal and put away
Yeah.
because immediately by the end of
Physical
this,
copy at number one. Are you gonna see if there's a TPC?
no, I need a physical issue one because I'm pretty sure that this is going to become something else, and I believe the return on my $3
I
investment.
mean, adaptation wise.
I think 1,000,000% this is begging
Fair.
to be adapted. And so just from a collector standpoint, I need two. I need one for me. I
Charlie,
need one to turn
Charlie
into other
always thinking
comics.
about the book.
Well, I do think that there is. I hate number one hunters. The problem is
Well,
without them,
if you're a number one hunter, you are never gonna go hungry
but we,
because there's a
yeah, yeah,
number one
yeah.
for every title that's ever made.
But we also need the industry. The Image is like any other company. They need to know people give a fuck. So by me spending,
Oh,
between $6 and $10 for two physical copies to squirrel away, very nice. Ooh, that new screen is so shiny.
no,
Um,
almost like it's not even cracked or nothing.
there's yeah, exactly. There's something to be said
Gotta
about.
tighten it up.
There's something to be said about that collectorness of it.
Yeah.
With that being said, though. I will then all respect intended for Tony Daniels, Tony S. Daniels, if you're nasty.
Danza, he was pretty good too.
The book opens up and I didn't give a fuck. I don't
Kids,
I don't like stories where the cast could be on CW. I don't like stories about fucking
Charlie's racist
witches.
against blue head bitches.
About 7 or 8 pages in, probably less. I'm probably overstating where I was questioning it.
Usually,
It kind of instantly gave me the vibe of Evil Dead. There's a turn in it that I'm not going to spoil, but very early on, when you see your first demon, the book is like, "Sup, bitch? Demons in this motherfucker!"
yeah.
John, I popped like I was at a wrestling show. The sheer
Now let me
excitement I
ask you this,
had.
though, because I very much did not get that initial vibe.
Really?
However,
Demons talking shit, bro.
I too popped for the first demon reveal. I literally did one of these, like seeing
Well, you did the zoom in, right? I did the zoom in panel.
at midnight at a fucking well populated theater. I was like, oh
Yes,
shit, oh
yes.
man. I was like homeboy and 40-year-old virgin who is watching the horror movie in the middle of the Circuit City, whatever the fuck they were.
I was like in the 40-year-old virgin too, but the first time I had sex, I was like, ooh.
You're like a bag of sand, like a demon's like a bag of sand.
So for me, where this really won me over, that reveal I thought was
Question.
incredible.
I did have this thought too, and again,
Was it? Do they owe you money because they use your likeness?
not yet,
Because they owe you money because they use your license. Those eyebrows were bigger. I would say for you.
I did have that moment knowing what the creative team was. Creative one-man team.
Well, the colorist is amazing.
Yeah, the colors. But sorry, Ellen.
This fucking guy treated him like a goddamn anchor.
I'm like, you're a tracer, dude. But that being said, that the demon reveal, I'm like, my man wanted to draw some demons.
Fuck yeah!
Like, when you
that's when it started. There's a sketchbook somewhere where he just has the nastiest shit.
Look at his high school notebooks, like in the.
That's how he said goodbye to people senior year. He was like, "This is what you would look like if you had 9 arms." You fuck.
I hate you so much. This is what I picture you as.
They were Cronenberg-esque nightmares, and that shit works for me in like a real. I love horror shit, but not the right way. I'm not one of those people who's like, I didn't sit through Saw 10 and was like, whoa, that guy got his dick pulled out through his intestines. No, I go, dick through his intestines, and I do a little cheer. I feel like
Alice,
Tony.
are you implying that we are close to death, or are you saying that the sound is trash? Sometimes.
Yeah, you could be less fucking.
Sometimes.
And also, yeah, how about be specific, you fuck?
I mean, the tiny submarine going to the Titanic was very
echoey?
specific.
Far away?
About to collapse in and of itself from the pressure.
Well, how do I adjust that in the fucking soundboard?
Listen, man,
there's no button
you're
for
the tech
pressure.
Guy. I'm not the tech guy. But that all being said, Ellis, I know you got here a little late. My brother, Edenwood, rather, you have to check out. It is a dynamite number one that's floating around out there. But Charlie, yeah, I'm with you. I very much also, as well as, must own a physical copy. But I am going
to sell in 5 years for lots of money.
You maybe.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, J Rib on eBay.
I'll give you 50. Nice.
No. I collect trade paperbacks of runs that I'm really loving because, frankly, again, I'm greedy. I'm greedy.
Well, yeah.
You want to move this closer?
Again, being far away and in a tin can are two different things. Fuck face.
Well, I mean, he's trying to help.
How dare he?
He's trying to help.
Anyone who tries to help me is the worst.
But that all being said,
take the red thing off. Everyone listen to this crunkle.
Oof.
Chronicle.
It, straight to
How's that,
and
Ellis? Let us
spitting
know.
all over it. But that all being said, no, I'm greedy. Like with certain stories, when they have even the commercial breaks, I am irritated. Like you read about, I don't want it to stop. Give me more. Give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more. That's also as well as why I don't particularly, why I'm not particularly angry when I get spoilers or if I happen to know something beforehand. I'm like, fuck it, good. I want the narrative. I'm addicted. I cannot get enough.
You're
Shoot me up, liquefy
incredibly
me. You gotta
unique
do
of you because spoilers, the end of the story has as much appeal as the middle, as the beginning, as the setup. Like
it.
you would be very hard to like ruin a season of television for. Except like, do you think with like Lost, if they were like they're dead, they're going to be in a church?
I mean, in the case of
Spoiler, I guess.
Lost, it would have just saved me months and months of life
Yeah.
because that would have I would have appreciated. Like that's the oh, you have a time machine. What do you do? No, I don't kill Hitler. I go back. I find myself in the Lost era. I'm like, don't bother.
Really?
Don't
You
bother.
wouldn't just treat it like a bad date? Like you still want to go on the
If
date,
I'm
but
going on a bad date, I get on my time machine. I'm like, yo, don't bother, bro. Don't bother.
big cans though.
Nah, you can bother a little bit. Yeah, no, like, I want more.
I'm
I just
shocked.
want more. Even if it's only okay, give me more.
I'm shocked you didn't get an Evil Dead vibe out of it. I'm shocked. It felt Evil Dead-y
The
to me.
demons were a little dead-eyed-ish,
I
like
mean,
in
there's
terms of
something called like Necronomicon.
their attitudes and what have you. But no, I mean the overall. But honestly, I felt like it was more. And again, spoilers notwithstanding, I know not everybody has my policy, but it was almost more Game of Thronesy
Yeah, yeah, well, I
in
like
terms
that
of the
about it too.
early storytelling of Game of Thrones with the White Walkers and all that jazz. Like it had a little bit more of that, except that they were like fucking a mobilized army. Like who's coming? Okay, there was no multi-season fucking slow burn
I
to
think
get the witch army involved.
I think my favorite thing about it, like soup to nuts, was what's that? The thing I like most about it was they drop in like words, and my favorite thing in a comic is when
Oh,
it's
the little
organic and it's
asterisk.
like you gotta take your V back, and then it like
Yes,
just
yes,
has a
yes.
little asterisk that's like
Which,
this
by
is
the
some
way,
vitamins and shit.
so even better than vitamins, it's full on. Again, this is not a plot spoiler. They have little like because there's a famine going on. Got the depression on. They have a famine going on because obviously, in wartime scenarios, food is not can't
Yeah,
just go to
it's
the
scarce
drive-through. So they have these little like pop pills they can pop, which are oh you just had a meal.
meal replacement.
But
I need some of that shit.
going back to my childhood, Jetsons, they used to have this like running gag where in the future they had like full on little meals you can just pop, but it wasn't like oh it's vitamins and whatever. They were like oh it's a ham and cheese hero with a side of this that and the other. I'm like oh that would be fucking amazing. That gives me more time to play and hit jump on the old Commodore 64.
If you're doing that though, why would
Um,
you need it to be a ham and cheese sandwich?
you
It could just
wouldn't.
be
That was
vitamins.
a joke.
Oh, I get
You're
it.
more of a Flintstones
I'm
guy.
more of a Flintstones guy. The cigarette ads really worked for me as a child.
But I wanted to ask you this, Charlie. So we are officially we are both on board the
Yes, 100%.
bandwagon thus far for Edenwood again. Issue one just dropped off. It is literally still warm from the presses, but we saw the advanced covers and again, our guy's tremendous. Tony Daniels, extremely talented storyteller, both with the pen and with the typewriter. But that all being said, I feel like spooky season notwithstanding, because that is obviously the ideal time for it.
Yeah.
Um, there has been where we've been not new. We've been in this new golden age of horror,
You think?
high fantasy horror. Fuck yes, man. Fuck yes. Not? Do you not think so?
I feel like I feel like it has been the last few years. Regular life has been so horrifying. Maybe I'm just not able to process
Oh,
the intent. I
you
don't.
like
I.
vampires? Who
It
gives a shit?
sounds like I'm
I
being
haven't been outside
well,
in
but
a
like
month.
a few months ago, there was just fucking like a general being like, "Yep, aliens," and the entire world was like, "Ah, I give a fuck. Gives a fuck." So I think if we are in a renaissance, I'm unaware of it. Like you
Oh,
say it, and it doesn't sound wrong to me. But with that being said, I'm like, well, how long has this been Renaissance thing? Has it been like since there's been a Chucky TV show? Because I
I
was
I
blown
would
away by.
say
I haven't found time to watch that. My friends love it.
I would say since the fanfare really bloomed up for the Walking Dead comic.
Gotcha.
If I had
Oh
to,
wow, so
if
that's a
I had
minute.
to, that's what I'm saying. Like if I had to red timeline it, for Kang, I'd be like, this is the window, buddy. Don't go fucking
Yeah,
nipping this shit in the bud. I would really say since Walking Dead till now, we have been knuckle deep in this horror. Now, granted, they are in the kind of the way that they've been approaching it has not been a straight up comics code issue.
yeah.
Like, here's a severed head. No, no, no. They're combining genres.
That
But
that's cool.
in that sense, I will say this, and this is my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree with me if you want to be wrong. I feel that much like when you mix flavors of food,
Uh huh.
there's always a dominant flavor.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be muted by the other thing that you mixed it with, but when you have horror with sci-fi, if you've got horror with high fantasy, if you've got horror with teenage hijinks, horror with anything is gonna the needle's gonna swing more heavily to the horror side.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I really
You
think
feel
so.
like, and you feel like that's a relative absolute?
No, it's not an absolute because there's always going to be
Because like
exceptions to the rule.
Alien feels more horror to you than it does sci-fi.
Yes,
Interesting. You and I
but
watch shit different.
I would never say, hey, check
You
out
want to check out
Alien,
this sci-fi movie?
check out this sci-fi movie. I'm like, oh, so fucking lightsabers and light speed. Oh no, giant cockroach alien.
I mean,
Fair enough.
it's not just because I broke his balls 20 seconds ago and he was desperately trying to help the show, but I think
Alice,
the
yes.
Riddler is the exception that maybe proves the rule, where the two
Well,
are perfectly
they're
blended. That's a
they're
50-50.
all right. I will give this one caveat: with or without the "I Was a Teenage Werewolf" prequel
Well, you need
that
the you
starts.
need the prequel.
You need the
You
prequel.
need the prequel. Even the audio version that listens to the prequel.
So
You think that it becomes more horror than music?
that well,
There's music in the background.
there's barely sound effects. I will say this though, anyone, and I know everyone here certainly has done so.
These knobs,
These losers. Um.
which
So
we are,
what?
founding
Yeah.
losers.
No, clearly, King. This is my crown, bro. This is clearly a loser crown or a fucking Peaky Blinder. So the new
Yeah,
It
the
reboot.
instances.
Um, they made a few changes, most of which I was really on board for. So this is way off topic, but I don't give a fuck because I
Is
love
this where you're
Stephen
going to be
King.
like, they really should have kept the child orgy?
No, but so one of the things that they did was they shifted the timeline.
Yes.
So when the Tim Curry adaptation for the miniseries on TV, when that came out, obviously it was less gory. It was network TV
Yeah.
in the 80s, I guess. Um, they kept it pure. They kept the timeline correct to the book. What the book said, they're like, nope, that's what it is. And it meant that they were basically adults in the 80s, so they were like kids in the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Fine, everybody gets that nostalgia aspect. We've all eaten at McDonald's. We get it. But in this case, in the reboot, if you recall, they shifted it so they were kids in the 80s, early 90s,
Correct.
and they were adults now,
It's very Stranger
which
Things
I'm
of them.
like, well, or vice versa, because the book came out a long time ago. But that all being said, they adjusted accordingly. So there were certain things like New Kids on the Block, notwithstanding, they adjusted certain things, even in terms of the plot, the adventures that the kids had, the experiences that they had. And as we all know at this point, Pennywise is just gonna fucking date rape anything that you're already afraid of. He's like, oh,
Yes.
you don't like
You like Pac-Man? Watch the fuck out. Coming through your balls. Waka,
Holy
waka,
shit.
waka, waka.
Oh my god, those would all be library ghosts when she was pissed.
Oh, fuck.
But that being said, one of the things that they adjusted from the book and from the book at least, they changed one of the things that they were afraid of. Like some of them really really worked for me, like a painting that looked a little fucking like crooked faced and whatnot. But they took away. There's an I am a teenage werewolf nod in there, and the fucking werewolf in the book, at the very least, is fearsome, but kind of looks like the movie I Was a Teenage
That's
Werewolf, which was
awesome.
like a little bit intended to be B movie esque.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, yeah, well, the fucking by the time the '80s rolled around, these kids would have not gotten that reference unless they were fucking B movie monsters like me.
Yeah.
However, and this goes back to Ellis, Thriller did come out in the '80s. So if my man saw and like Charlie's reaction to Dark Helmet in Spaceballs,
Yeah.
if he saw the beginning of Thriller and damn nearly shit his pants, he would have been afraid of a Michael Jackson-esque
Would have been awesome.
werewolf. Imagine if
That
that.
would have been the first child to get away
Oh,
because he knows to be scared. What?
I saw that werewolf's penis. I can describe it. It was very hairy. Yeah, we know it's hairy, bro. It's a werewolf. But if they had had a Michael Jackson-esque werewolf, like with the long ears and the
That would have been
blue fur,
awesome. It was fucking
and
awesome.
he chased them with the cold
Blue
shoot
fur? Do you
in
think
the
he has
house,
blue fur?
he does. Well, the lighting makes it look.
Yeah. I
But
like that you're keeping the like dramatic
the
lighting.
funny thing
I
is,
gotta
like,
be honest, that's fresh.
I'm clearly admitting that I was super fucking scared of that shit. So.
We all have our straw person
Oh, yeah.
spaceballs, bro.
But again, anybody doing their Stephen King adaptations, hit me up. I can tell you all the shit that I was really
Well,
afraid of, so you can take advantage of it.
we're probably like, aren't they like already doing like an It sequel? You got time, bro. Call HBO Max. They're doing like a sequel series.
I heard they're doing a prequel series.
Perfect.
A little,
Extra couple
three
letters.
little lights.
Yeah, those fucking weird
Don't
bullies.
look into the dead lights. I need a turtle.
Uh, going halfway back to the book, I think
It or Edenwood.
both. Because with both, I think what's really cool about this day and age, if we are truly in this Renaissance period,
Golden age, baby.
then I'm even doubling down on my theory that this is so adaptable so far. There's
So
like
you're
a
right.
Shyamalanian twist on page 22 that you see coming, and this is where Tony S. Daniels really flourishes because it he does that thing where they nod to you a couple pages early. They're like, "The twist is coming. You're with me, right? Like you and I are on the same page, audience." And then they do the reveal. And they're like, "But it's more fucked up." And them just doing just them. Tony S. Daniels knows how to curate the visual
Yeah.
that is as good, if not better, than the story beat.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's both and it sounds like I'm over promising. I again 5 pages in, I'm like, this is beautiful. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is a story I get why John would like, but it very much was me in the back of the theater, not arms crossed, but me being like, oh, John really enjoyed this. That's great. Page 6, I'm like, fuck that guy. Yeah, the biggest fucking Edenwood fan of all time. Bring the witches, bring the demons, bring this fucking hunter, bring the army. Let's fucking. I want to take my fucking VCAP or whatever they call
Dude,
their meal replacement plan, their Atkins pill.
I just want to see the inside of a witch tank. Like, does it look like a,
Euphemism, or are we talking about the actual tank?
yes. Like, is it just like a Romany carriage on the inside, like just very homey, like throw blankets everywhere, a cauldron on the
I feel like it must
on
be
the simmer.
bigger on the inside. I think it's a timey wimey. Yes.
That being said, again, Edenwood, I don't want to eat up all the time in the world. Edenwood, #1 drop today. So worth it. If you were on the fence about checking it out, I will go ahead and personally guarantee your enjoyment of it.
If you don't want to keep the
Um,
copy, I'll buy it off you.
And Charlie clearly is already looking for a secondhand copy to add to his collection.
I'll give you $2. You already watched
Fucking
it. Read it.
Edenwood. Read it, love it, get back to us, let us know what your opinions were. If you loved it, you're with me. If you didn't like it, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I won't hold it against you.
All I know is that if you report back that you had no feelings towards this book, you're a fucking liar. Just like one Mr. George Toy Boy Lucas. Why, John?
Should have smelled it. I should have smelled it, guys.
Because I'm shot
What
first.
is this again?
This is just straight tequila.
Fucking guy.
Salud. Ah.
Oh my God. Oh.
Well, you. You think that hurts? You're a couple
Oh,
episodes
oh,
away from seeing the most gruesome body horror ever set
you're
to streaming
you're about to
television.
see it right now in your office. Holy shit!
Nice. John, I know how busy you've been, and unlike Edenwood, where someone kind of handed it to me and I went, oh, someone said this was delicious. Let me go. I have been absolutely enrolled at God U because I am fully up to date.
You want a scholarship or
I am on a very.
those interest rates were fucking
I'm
astronomical.
from the Dodo school that I got in for like special interest as a tax write off. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about Amazon Prime's saving grace, in my opinion.
Huh,
The
struggling.
the companion to the boys. I'm talking about Gen V. Uh, George's Revenge is what we call it. We just have straight tequila for the Han shot segment. Well done, Ellis. John, I know you've been incredibly busy. Um, for those of you not in the know, the world that we kind of know it is changing, and the new Palace of Rivera is being kind of constructed as we speak. With that being said, I said, hey man, I need you to find some time. And find time you did. I know you kind of just
I
started
I
it.
think you even called me a bitch at one
I
point.
may have called you a bitch if you didn't find the
Damn.
time. But
Ooh,
before I get to your opinion, again, Gen V follows a college level superhero school. It's Superhero High on Amazon Prime with more blood. When I first heard about Gen V, instantly my personal reaction was full eye roll. Um, I'm on record. The Boys TV show for me is significantly better than the comic book, and I liked the comic book. I love the Boys series. Gen V in the comic books was basically a play on Xavier's School for Mutants, and then there was like twists and turns. And guess what? Everyone's a fucking shithead because you can't possibly, in the world of the comic book boys, there's no such thing as a true hero. Everyone's a secret piece of shit. The heroes you love at some point kind of become huge fuck faces. Gen V has from minute three completely surprised me. One, it's not a spin-off in the traditional sense. This is almost a point 0.5 season. This takes place minutes after the end of the last season of The Boys. So it's not they're not doing a time jump. This isn't about, any character that we this isn't the deep
all
in
right.
college.
I mean, if anything, the best we've gotten so far, and like I said, I'm two episodes in.
Yeah.
I got some statues. I'm like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
a
well,
crotch.
and what's really great about Gen V is because it's happening concurrently, to the boys, or not concurrently, happening immediately
Immediately, yeah.
aftermath. There are cameos aplenty,
Great
but they're
character
not.
name.
Nice, nice. They're not shoehorned in. Ella's dropping in from Facebook. It's Gen 5. Those are Roman numerals. You uncultured swines. Prequel to Gen 13. I
I Wait a minute. I thought it was
hate how much I love you.
Gen,
Gen,
like like a
like that
nickname.
STD that you got in the Bing Bang from
Look,
Ting Tang?
I took one of those fucking bluish tinted shots and cleared right up.
Fair enough.
Also, as well as I could tie my tongue in a knot.
Mm, interesting.
Kind of useless,
Nice
but
little.
still our blood
Well,
superpowers.
that's
Still
what
we can affect.
that first episode what I really love is they drop you in, and I swear I'm getting to your opinion. But the way Gen V starts is they're like, here's a character you haven't seen before, but
Yeah,
actually secretly we saw her in the last season of The Boys. She's in a file, which is fucking awesome. They just did wonderful for nerds. That's
yeah.
fucking mother's milk. No
That
pun intended.
hey,
But they introduce you to a character who has fucking blood powers. And on episode one, I don't know if you felt the same way. I went, those powers are fucking terrible. Those are, without question, the power to control your blood like whips, but you don't like produce extra blood. I literally had an arm cross moment. 5 minutes of the boys, I'm like, fuck this bitch. She's made a mess out of the gym.
and
Um,
I don't want to spoil anything either, or steal your thunder, but like the first time she used it, I was like, ew,
well, what I think they
ew.
do an
I had a
excellent.
real Chappelle moment,
I,
like,
I think
ew.
they do an exceptional job of making you feel exactly what they want you to. Because
It works.
100 people in that
It
show have
works.
said like that power won't work in the Midwest. Doesn't work on fucking Long Island. I can tell you, East Coast also crazy blow powers. But from the moment I'm introduced to a little blonde firecracker, code name
What
Cricket,
else is new?
yeah, I'm saying, I instantly fell in love with her. Instantly fell in love with the show,
Would you say you wanted to give her a big hug?
or a little hug, depending on the situation. John,
I was making you the dick hugger.
oh, nice. It's been a while since I saw episode one. But yes, that would be swell. Well, that's I would love her to give me that hug. I absolutely love Gen V. I think the greatest compliment I can give this show is I think it stands shoulder to shoulder with the boys. It borrows enough from the boys to still feel like the same world. I think it has its moments of being absolutely optimistic, which I was not fucking expecting out of a boys spinoff.
Mm.
There's shit in the show. I'm not sure if in the first 2 episodes there's a ton of it, but there is a ton where you're like, those motherfuckers are these motherfuckers are trying to be heroes. For every piece of shit who's like, I'm a super, so I no rules apply. For every fucking person wearing a Homelander hat, which by the way, if anyone thinks the boys isn't fucking political, you haven't been paying attention. Gen V is like, hey,
Guys,
we're political.
I hate to be the voice that you hear this from if you didn't already know it. Art,
Yeah,
all art is political because it's derived from the world in which the artist lives. So if the
yeah,
artist is living in a time where there's any political shit going on, the art that's produced is inherently by default
yeah.
political. But that's
Well, before you jump
nitpicking.
off that and jump into your opinion so far of Gen V, I do want to say also most of that fucking art, it it's on very specifically one side. Because most people who think more than fucking half a thought have similar opinions. I
Well,
digest.
I actually I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you on that. All right, you fuckers, I do disagree. No, I'll disagree with that because coming from our shared stance on many, not all, but many things, we sit back and we're like, huh, look at these fucking assholes who are like, oh, and I'm just gonna use the over the top version.
I fully support the
Um,
bull moose.
there are people who are like, oh yeah, I love Homelander. I love Homelander, and like they say it with a straight face, and all you want to do is like, oh man, Homelander is clearly the villain in
He's
this. What are you
inarguably the
talking about?
baddest bad guy,
But
whoever bad guy.
there are lesser, there are less Homish Homelander characters, in modern storytelling, and you'll get my favorite of all time, only because he spoke about it very very often, right? John Hamm talking about his Don Draper character,
Yes.
and people would often come and say, "Oh, I love Don Draper. He's the best. I'm just like him, or I want to be like him." And fucking John Hamm is just with big dick energy all day long. He's like, "You, he's the worst, right? Like he is the worst fucking character."
Imagine some guy in a fucking suit,
Just like,
just perfectly steamed to meet John Hamm, and John Hamm's in some free T-shirt he got from fucking Goodwill. And
just
he's like, "You suck."
just big dick flapping in the wind.
Well, let's take that big dick and throw a cricket on it. John, two
You
episodes
know,
into Gen V,
yeah.
what were your expectations of this show? Because in general, I feel like Amazon Prime, I can't currently think of a ton of misses, but I don't think of Amazon Prime originals as this bastion of quality. I think of Invincible, one of the greatest animated shows of all time. I think of The Boys, season after season. I love it more and more. I don't know if I can fucking tell you another Amazon
So
Prime show.
Amazon for me, Amazon Prime came out of the fucking box hot.
Yeah.
They put out Man in High Castle,
Oh, you're right.
which is like some of
Is this where you list all the Amazon? I don't like Fire, Gucci Fire. It just turns
I,
out my memory sucks.
I won't actually I won't do that to you, but kind of sort of, but more to the point where I'm just in this place where if something doesn't grab me,
Yeah,
I'm like, no, thanks anyway.
yeah.
I'm not mad
It's how
about
you
it.
treat Tinder.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I am not disappointed because most of this content is not stuff that I've been just anxiously waiting by the phone to ring with an adaptation coming. I'm like, all right, what do you got?
Yeah.
If I got it anyway, that's kind of my attitude. It's not like you're coming out of pocket or paying at a theater or doing whatever the fuck for like some fucking chromed out extra special edition that comes with a blah 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 blah. So I just kind of like take it, like I check it out, and if it's not to my liking, I'm like, nah, I'll pass. I'll wait for the pumpkin pie. However, I did have a little trepidation for the simple
Didn't it
fact that
seem like it was going to be like Dawson's Creek with super? It
no,
felt to
no,
me like all the ads were the opposite of what it is.
for me, because I kind of waited as long as I did to check it out, there were plenty of voices circulating,
Oh,
and
really?
most of them were to the positive. And I'm one of those people that can have something that's a good, like have a B get knocked down to a C plus or a C because people are like, oh, this is A
Oh,
quality.
okay.
Um,
Did I add to that fire? I thought I was very good at not selling.
you didn't intentionally, but I'm a very good reader
Well, especially
of
of me.
Charlie
You
and
like
the
wrote the book.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, well, how would I approach this? I got you,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah.
That's why you can't play cards against me. I'm like, ah, I know you got shit. All in. Um, so that did give me a little bit of hesitation because truly all the talk has been, in my experience, to the positive.
Yeah.
So I was like, a little bit like,
I'm so proud of myself.
all right, let me see what you
I've
got.
blocked all those accounts. I don't see like IGN anymore. I don't need anyone's opinion.
You know that
I
that's
don't.
you're strong
Your opinion,
because
Ellis's opinion, both have like there's equity to the people I
yeah.
know. Because if Ellis loves something, there's like a 20% chance it's going to be a piece of shit like episode one, or it might be really fucking great
Or it
like
might be a
Empire.
Lando Cape, or it might be an adorable dog. So, to be honest, like you're really rolling the dice if you're just going with an Ellis
That's true.
fucking opinion. Um, no, no, no. Like just in general, and honestly, I don't go searching out opinions like
You
that.
just stumble upon
They
them
they come across, they just come across my desk
when you're
for
trying
one
not to
reason.
do some task. You're
Oh,
like,
for
let me be
sure. Yeah,
online.
yeah, please. I'm like, oh god, I'm taking a blood test. I don't care about Genevieve right now.
So you sit down for that first episode. You have all that baggage with you, which isn't horrible baggage, but that's at least a carry on.
It was more like, fuck, we got to talk about this. I need to watch it.
And then what? So what was the reaction during episode one?
Um,
What
I,
did you think about blood powers other than
so
you?
well, first and foremost, Golden Boy. I'm like, burns off his clothes, son of a bitch. Thank God we have those Instagram posts, so nobody can accuse me of shit. But yeah,
Yeah, I had a real. We have a character effigy where like my big selling point was I wanted like a fat titted blonde. No, I'm just kidding. It just never made sense to me that every fire powered person is like. Luckily, my clothes were in the dryer when I got these powers. I'm like, that's fucking dumb. I do think that they didn't steal my favorite part about effigy though. When he
she has big
powers
titties
down, he's
blonde.
just no. When he powers down, he's like just so clean. I'm like, what's happening? Does he have no body hair?
So so
Schwarzenegger's kid?
so that all being said,
Yeah,
um,
golden boy.
that all being said, I really like the way that it was handled because you're not dealing, for the most part, really, as far as I've seen, you're not seeing any legacy characters that you have an opinion about or not, right? Because the one thing that you cannot deny, if you watched a decent, if not all of the episodes of The Boys, is you develop an opinion about characters.
Yes.
There are good characters, bad characters that I like, love, and dislike, arbitrarily, sometimes by episode to episode. The one thing though that they did not pull back on was two things actually. The tragedy.
Yes.
I'm not even talking about violence or like goriness or anything like that because once you fucking swam up a whale's asshole and out the blowhole, you're pretty much have kind of called your shot as to what kind of a show you're gonna be watching. Um, but the tragedy aspect of it, like, look, nothing good or bad comes without something, some kind of preamble. You didn't get to where you are. You didn't pop up, there magically. So there's a lead into everyone's story. They did not hold back on that whatsoever. But the sexuality, right? We are sexual
Especially in
fucking.
college.
Oh, come on. It's like unfucking believable. They right straight up out of the gate. And I'm not talking about graphicness or those
And actually,
plenty graphic.
it's like a lot of cock graphicness, but there's not a lot of.
You
I
know,
think they're pretty fair and equitable.
Sure,
I haven't seen a tit on the show yet. I've been
sure,
looking.
sure. There's a couple of tits running around out there. But that's just behaviorally. Um, but no. Like I said, there's no denying. I'll put it this way. This is the best way I can summarize it. If I did not see those opening credits and I just popped it on like it was a channel, it's like a regular
Yeah,
flip to the dial channel, I would have thought that it was just another episode of The Boys, which shows characters that I wasn't familiar with yet. It feels, looks, and acts
yeah.
exactly like The Boys, and if you're going to do a spin-off, it absolutely should do so.
So someone argued with me that like why do a spin-off at all if it's going to match visually? It doesn't make any fucking sense to
Sounds
me.
dumb. Whoever said that, be disappointed with
And
yourself.
you and
That's a
I,
stupid take.
completely off topic, you and I were talking about Into the Spider-Verse, like one of the great, in my opinion, one of the best films ever made, very quickly climbing up my top of all time lists. Going back to
Easily,
another conversation you had,
easily one of the best comic book movies ever.
honestly, I will fist fight anyone who like tries to even like tries to argue against that. Um, and
It's an open challenge.
I love how visually striking it is and visually different it is. But
Mhm.
if you're doing a fucking spin-off, do it. It's because you should love from whence it sprang.
Sure.
So there
I'll
is
never watch a spin-off of something that I didn't like the
you're not
fucking original.
popping in Baywatch Nights to be like, yeah, now they're detectives. All
You
right.
kidding?
What do you think about a lot of conversation with Marvel lately is because they have so many different like kind of fires, so many different shows, so much required viewing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are like, well, audiences are stupid. How will they follow? Gen V, I can give you this slight spoiler, completely changes some framework of The Boys. Like the next time you watch The Boys, there needs to be a recap of Gen V because of what happens in some of these later episodes.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
which I think they will do. I think they'll be like, last time on The Boys and Gen V, and I think they'll just catch you up. And because the visual language is identical, it's very easy to kind of show you something that maybe you're unfamiliar with. But you put a little Gen V on the bottom. Maybe that gets some people to watch it that weren't watching The Boys.
Well,
Mike,
again, it's DNA from the comic books.
yes,
Comic books are maybe the first storytelling format that like see Thor
yes.
54 when they're talking about something that's worldwide, which
Oh,
is
could you imagine if they put the
War.
asterisk on the bottom, like as seen in Gen V? Let me ask you this:
Episode 4.
do you think that's going to turn some people off? Do you think some people are in The Boys and don't
No.
want to watch Gen V? Because again, we're living in a streaming world, so there is part of me that's like, well, why the fuck wouldn't you watch more? It's The Boys colon Gen V. Like it's not even
Yeah.
standing completely on its entire, and rightfully so. It shouldn't stand
Well, let me
alone on its own feet.
let me ask you this. So, and I'm kind of one of those rhetorical questions. When you watched the cartoon,
Yeah,
right?
diabolical.
You did not. That wasn't required viewing,
Correct.
right? You're like, no, I like the boys.
Yeah,
You do.
son of a bitch.
I like this, so let me go ahead and see that. So this kind of in the reverse works that way because it doesn't take much to be like, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So superpowers have a cost. Got it.
nailed it.
Got it.
X
So
Men.
all the stuff, all the stuff that happened in the boys is not necessarily required viewing, in my
Yeah,
opinion, thus
yeah.
far. And again, I'm only two
There is
episodes in.
some shit where like a character basically says like episode 5 of The Boys. This is Steve. What up, Steve? Like there are a couple moments like that, but my question is really the opposite though.
Yeah.
Do you think there are going to be people turned off that just tune into the next season of The Boys and like I missed the fucking plot point because I didn't watch Gen V? Because Diabolical has a couple like key things that like they're garnish on The Boys and Gen V meal, but
Mm.
like if you didn't know it, I don't think. Again, it's very kind of one sentence the way. Do you think that there's going to be? There's definitely going to be people that bitch about it, but do you give a fuck? My argument for the whole Marvel of it all has always been like, hey man, fuck you if you didn't do your homework.
Well,
I shouldn't be fucking left back. I don't need the Marvels movie to give me 20 minutes on the non-Captain Marvels. Like you got a minute each at max.
I trust the creators
Mm.
to establish, well, this you need this. So if there is stuff that they determine to be not required homework and they just kind of like gloss over it,
Yeah.
then I'm done. Now, if I happen to do my homework, and I always do, if I happen to do my homework on it, I'm just that much better prepared. The better example of it, honestly, is Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So people got very irate because if they did not see Rebels or if they didn't fucking see some of this prior content, even though it was in a totally different format,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I had to do this to do that. No,
Yeah.
no, because the stuff that you may not have caught on Rebels or fucking what's it called, the other series, or Clone Wars, they touched on it for you
Yeah.
as much as was needed to touch on. So you know these storytellers, they're going on the presumption that it's new
That
viewers,
you know nothing.
right? Because people who are carryover viewers, look, if it was intended that you needed to see fucking season one of The Boys in order to watch Gen V, they wouldn't have called it Gen V. They would have called it The Boys season fucking four.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's a good
saying?
point.
So no, I
Because
don't
you
think
could always add a subtitle to a season. People do it. Let me ask you this as before I give my final thought.
yeah.
Was there anything that you did not like so far? Was there something that stuck out that you were like, oh, this is an interesting decision? Or are you, I feel like it's very episodic TV, so I feel like you don't have enough data to have an opinion like that.
Two episodes in, the only even like I wouldn't even call it a negative. I would call it, well, that's not a positive.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a huh. Some of the power schemes I didn't really comprehend their
As-
usefulness.
You know, it's funny. That's going to come around.
So I
So it's a
figured as
good question.
much.
It's a
I
good
figured
question.
as much because
What's
again,
your,
two episodes in,
yeah.
you're not gonna have all your answers.
What's your favorite thing so far about the, if anything? Does anything stick out? Is it affecting you that way?
It's not really like the as close the closest thing to it was, and again, apologies for anyone who isn't this as caught up as yours truly. Um, Starlight in The Boys has a very different experience than pretty much all the other characters. In that she's a little bit younger and delicious. Oh, Aaron, I hope you watching this. Oh, I'm free next Thursday. But that all being said, she has a very unique experience because these are characters who she's kind of looked up to.
Yeah.
Whereas the peer characters from one, to one another, like, hey, what's up, Bob? You fucking jerk. Remember that time you got drunk at that bachelor party? I do. They all have that relationship where Starlight doesn't. These characters in Gen V, they're Starlights,
Yeah.
right? Even though Starlight's a little bit older than them, they have that look, they're hero worshiping. And granted, in the storyline, this has been going on for decades, not for years. The way we've had the shows and comic, that shouldn't be. But their experience is that they have expectations of these
Yeah.
characters, and that is like just written through the fucking the DNA of every page of those scripts. And the casting that they did, they cast it very very well because they're projecting all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have the IP to really pull from, especially in this particular storytelling that they're running with. So for me, it's brand new, and I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe these are the experiences that they're having, and this is what you would do when you put in a certain scenario. Yeah, I loved it. Again, like you talked about before, it's not black and white; it's shades of gray. But however, shades of gray means that it's not just gray; it can skew from one
Yeah.
side to the other.
What I really love, and my final thought on the subject before we pay some expensive ass bills, very simply, it's this needs to be put somewhere as research for like, oh, I want to do a spinoff, I want to do a side story, I want to. This does a wonderful job of you take the world that has been built, you add to it, you don't detract from it. There's nothing that stands out. Everything should come easier for your spinoff because the world rules should exist. And ultimately, one of my favorite stories out of the Boys series was when Starlight and Huey were kind of having their meet cute and they were kind of falling in love. What I loved about that is it kind of just double backed. It just backed into rather the sense of everyone wants to belong. So what does that mean, and what trouble do you get in from that sense of longing? Like, what's your want? I think the thing Gen V does better than a lot of series, especially the last couple of years, a couple episodes deep, you know what everyone wants, you know what everyone says they want,
Yeah.
and you know why those two things a lot of times conflict. And for someone like me, where I find that shit incredibly, the human condition, even through a superhero lens, I find so interesting. When you can fly, I find it 2% more interesting. Also, every single time I get deep in my head with Gen V, where I'm like, well, I wonder what the stuff like a fucking testicle becomes a like explodes. You know what I'm saying? Like 100% of the time, I go, oh my god, I wonder what he means. Like just someone's nut gets blown off with a laser, and I'm like, how the, who the, when the?
You got me again, you son of a bitch.
And as is tradition here on US Comics Cast, the moment that we mention an exploding testicle, it is time to pay some bills because nothing breaks my balls worse than fake bullshit fucking ads trying to shill products that they've never used, that they don't like, or some fucking horseshit game. So instead, we're going to give you the good because today we are once again brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands. That, of course, is Bad Mary. You heard one of their songs during the intro. You're going to hear one during the outro. If you're wondering where else you can catch their act, you can follow them at Bad Mary Band across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary. You can stay up to date. BadMary.com for merch and upcoming performances. My favorite part is the free part, and that's all their music is available on every single music streaming service. John, someone asked, what if I don't pay for any music streaming services? I tell them it's mostly true. It's on fucking YouTube. It's on YouTube as well.
They didn't ask you that, though.
I made that up. I don't really have a lot of friends. I kind of just a lot of
The
me
worst
talking to
part
me.
is the imaginary friends of yours ask the dumbest,
They're really
dumbest
just dumb
questions.
dumb
And I gotta
fucks.
smack your imaginary friend, but also as well as you gotta ask yourself, where are we dropping? And as always, the answer is with Sergeant Finesse. You can find him at Curly Gaming exclusively on Kick.com. That is all he's doing. Playing a lot of New World expansion. Playing a little bit even of Fortnite very recently. Sarge is a dynamite fucking streamer. He keeps it real every fucking day. Some days you're not gonna agree with him, but every day that you tune in, it's gonna be something to watch. Sarge is our boy. He's been with us really since day one. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing without him having led the way and kind of showing us a lot of the insides and outs. So check out Sergeant Finesse over on Kick.com also, as well as you got to get some yucks in there. And when you're talking about Fortnite, you're talking about Jokers underscore stream underscore. He is over on Twitch, doing his thing. He does a little dabbling on Kick also, because seems to be kind of like the newer thing out there. Streamers love that new shit, but Joker came to us organically. He's one of you losers, so go ahead and show some loser love to Joker's stream on fucking Twitch.
I don't want to let the conversation about Joker end there tonight, actually, because I
Oh,
also
right.
just want to give a shout out to two of our friends who love Batman. And that, of course, is probably our favorite Batman animated series based podcast. And there are more than goddamn one. Batman-tastic
Every
cast.
other podcast.
Exactly. Batman-tastic cast available everywhere. The incredibly talented and knowledgeable super fans and friends of the show, Mike Staub from Bad Mary. But also, I just mentioned it because Jordan Hugh, freshly engaged
I know.
as a host. I wanted to give that a
He
shout
is
out.
hooked, ladies. So
Suckers.
you can listen to him when
But us.
nerdy about Batman.
But everyone on deck for Jordan. Like,
Yeah, no,
we accept resumes.
I'm happy to be a fucking sugar-free Jordan alternate.
John, do me a favor. Hit that button. Oh, what the fuck are you doing on my private elevator, boy?
First of all, let's be honest. Right now,
Don't touch me.
you would be speaking to
Never
me.
touch me.
You would be speaking to me exclusively in Japanese because we are currently in the executive offices of the good folks that make that dynamite 8-bit goodness at Konami. Ladies
Oh.
and gentlemen, this is a pitch. Granted, it has been refined, it has been rewritten, it has been refocused, but one that I fucking was pretty positive I had already thrown, and Charlie, like the little
I was
veritable
positive you did.
hairy monster that he is, said, "You know, you pitched that already." And I double checked the records, I double checked the file,
I didn't see it
I
on the
double,
show. In
I
life.
double checked everything. Listen, Mr. Hurry Watson, you can sit there and fucking listen to the pitch. This is not
So you don't have to pitch it.
Ellis. You're my favorite money guy.
Ellis is mine.
So this is a pitch that I have had floating around my fucking head since forever. I'm so happy to be giving it life now. So granted, not quite as nice as the offices of Nakatomi Plaza, but far, far better insulated against terrorist attacks. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Hans Gruber. Your time is almost nigh. Here we are. Hem. Sir,
Yes.
somo arigato. In 2633 AD, two elite Marine commandos, Contra, if you will, named Bill Rizzer and Lance Dean. Yeah, that's right. That's what their names were.
I already have a note.
Are sent on a mission to negotiate a terrorist organization called Red Falcon for some reason that is secretly planning to take over the entire world.
Oh no!
And it's up to this two-man army to put an end to the madness once and for all. So begins one of our most popular video games of the mid-80s. Millions of quarters were fed into arcade cabinets, and even more hours were spent sitting cross-legged in front of the Nintendo box, all with the goal of defending Earth from 8-bit alien invaders. Dude, guys, we all played the shit out of this game. This was an 8-bit video game. So now here we are. Okay, this is 2023, the mid fucking 80s. This video game, you were blowing on the cartridge, you were
That's right.
pumping in the fucking quarters, doing what you got to do. How do we bring this new life, you ask?
How do we bring this?
Well, I'll tell you. So, what very people don't know, Charlie, in this world, at least, is that this video game was based on a true fucking story.
What?
Granted, you're gonna want to know. Look, something like this, we're gonna need some real heavy hitters, some real fucking movie muscle. I'm gonna give you the best movie muscle that's ever muscled ever. What was I gonna say? All right, we're going to get already pre-signed on the dotted line.
Oh,
We don't have to worry
wheeling
about
and
it.
dealing before you
That's
call
right.
me.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Bill Rizzer. Sylvester Stallone is Lance Bean. Finally, the truth can be revealed. Here's the movie. We open to the familiar startup screen and a 1987 timestamp across the screen. We fade in to a very familiar but typical 8-bit side-scrolling action scene from Contra. Basically, it's like somebody plugged the Nintendo.
This movie's gonna be so
into-
cheap.
Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, like they plugged it right into the screen and just fucking went to town. Bill and Lance, they're running and gunning alien invaders just like we're familiar with.
But 8-bit. Just to make sure we're all on the same
This
page.
is the actual game, basically. That classic Konami soundtrack playing and the sound effects, like just exactly like what we remember. However,
Oh,
this is where it's getting a little different.
fuck! Where's my wallet?
Bill and Lance are talking to each other. They're shouting out their war cries, the fucking battle formations. You know, just like it would be in any other fucking action movie, except on the screen, it's little fucking 8-bit dudes running around.
No, he's
Time
rocking.
like, hey, yo, grab the fireball gun. Don't miss the power over there. So we have.
Oh, subtitle, don't miss the power.
Oh yeah, you can spell it out phonetically. We have what we're gonna get, Charlie. We basically have like you would see on YouTube, which I definitely watched today. We basically have like a montage of fucking the boys running through each level like they're doing a Konami fucking Contra playthrough. So again, it's like a montage from an 80s movie, except that it's Contra, and we have Sly and Arnold talking their talk back and
Amazing.
forth relatively quick. All the different levels of the game, the voiceovers interlaced throughout until we get to the final boss, and that final boss is defeated. Again, the voiceovers though clearly show that these two clearly don't get along very well.
Oh no!
Just like in real life. Ba, ba, ba.
They open a Contra restaurant. Watch everything.
they're very they have the same goal to stop these
To open a
fucking
Contra restaurant?
yes, to stop the fucking Red Falcon. Turns out to be influenced by fucking aliens. So you have all this stuff. Yeah, sure, the story didn't make sense,
The
but
fact that that's the plot
no,
really is awesome.
bro, the fucking and the video game was unstoppable. You couldn't not play that fucking game if you meant to. But these voiceovers going to show they don't really get along very well. They're very much in competition. That final victory screen that we all know then goes to
Not all of us.
our lit. You know if you saw it. Those 8-bit heroes again in the same format, but in scenes that we're unfamiliar with. They're fucking they're getting medals on the floor of the UN. Little 8-bit UN, adorable. They're fucking getting a parade down the Canyon of Heroes in New York City. Yeah, little arms waving, 8-bit arms. This all fades. They're fucking going to like late night talk shows, interviewing, and they're still sniping back and forth between who's better. This all fades back to that 1987 screen that we opened on, and then you have a click over 1988, 1989, and just and then starts fucking speeding up. Woo! It just fucking speeds through the decades till it starts getting to the 20s, the 2010s, and starts going that, and then when it finally hits 2023, it stops.
Ooh.
All right, so now we are established where we are in the fucking timeline. Woo! Camera fades to this beautiful eight. Oh, and also, so where we started in 8-bit 1987, the technology, almost like Loki, but not inspired by, wink, wink, and the technology changed the fonts like more modern, more modern. So by the time it gets to 2023 across the screen, it's super high
Helvetica.
def. It's exactly right. It like looks fucking super sharp and nasty. Great. So now we're going to transition. We're in space. Just beautiful HD. Shines the fuck out. The stars are shining.
How many with
Um,
19 bits now? How many bits we got?
all the bits.
Full
We've got all
4K?
the bits, and you're gonna shell out all the bits in a minute.
Oh damn it.
Don't you worry. So now we see it's a starscape, but off to the side you can see the moon.
Oh.
And also like little glory levels. So we kind of know the vantage point that we're looking out to space, and then kind of like blowing up in the middle of the screen, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, obviously getting closer and closer to us. We see a little speck that ooh, it gets closer, 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 and now by the time it gets basically up to the camera, ooh, just like this, you can see it's a fucking huge asteroid, all kinds of stuff going on. Goes over the camera flips around, and now you're looking at the Earth.
Oh fuck.
And now you're looking at the Earth, but also as well as there's an asteroid hurtling through space, headed directly towards the Pacific Ocean, and our camera follows down. It breaks the fucking atmosphere, lights on fire a little bit. Boom! It lands just off the coast of New Zealand, which in real life they have
Protect Taika Waititi.
they have the words across the ocean because maps. That's how those work. Look, now we know that the alien overlords
Oh
of the
fuck.
Red Falcon have fucking returned.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm all about the montages, so we're going to get a rapid and thorough invasion of New Zealand. Taika Waititi goes flying through the air. He
No.
attempted a human counteroffensive on a large scale, fucking ships and bombs and all kinds of crazy stuff. That stuff is turned away by the superior alien tech. We cut over to an international roundtable of leaders.
Oh fuck.
We've tried. Oh fuck! We don't want to bomb New Zealand. We don't want to nuke New Zealand. We're rational people, but like, what the fuck are we gonna do with these alien attackers? Fuck! What did we do last time? Murmurs, murmurs, murmurs. Last time, it only took 2 men. Boom! And you see 2 files hit the fucking table, and our boy Bean and fucking what's his face, those files they spill out, but you see the pictures of a young Sly and a young Arnold.
Fuck yes.
Get those men. Now our shot transitions. We open up in a shabby retirement home in Florida. We find our now 70-something-year-old heroes holding court in the pool area. Bill,
Together?
oh yeah,
Oh fuck
Bill
yes.
is working over a barbecue, cigar in the corner of his mouth. Lance lounges on a pool floaty, sipping a Dos Equis, but they're still quipping and sniping at each other just like always.
I fucking love this so much.
They are like, again, it's Arnold and Sly now, but they're like a fucking old battery trucks. I'm just like, man, if you didn't do this, blah 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 blah.
Always chirping.
So that Instagram already loves it. So that is the relationship basically that we're dealing with. Now they're doing their thing. Now that relative piece, because clearly they like it. That relative piece is broken up as a black, familiar-looking helicopter, but in IRL flies low overhead, over the pool, stirs the water up, the floaties, spins around, and then lands just outside of the pool fence. Short story long, too late. The boys, they are roped into one last adventure in the hopes that they can replicate their prior victory, in spite of their body's protestations and limitations. They jump at the opportunity, if only for the opportunity to one last time outdo the other guy and show that I'm top dog, not you, motherfucker. So now they're packed off, they're preparing for action. We learn that the powers that be, well, they're like, oh, sure, we'll get those guys. Great, they did it last time. But you also find out as they get packed off, all geared up and ready to go, they're like, looking at each other like, these old motherfuckers might not be able to do it. We need a backup. Anyone who has played even a minute of Contra knows there are multiple ways that you could not succeed as you're playing the game. You get killed by one of the alien invaders. You fucking fall into a bottomless pit. Or you simply run out of time with a particular board that you're on. It's not just you versus the environment, or even you versus your partner.
It's a race against time.
You versus fucking time. So now, now for the
Shut
rest
the
of the
fuck
movie, you're gonna have a countdown to basically when the powers that be are like, nope, they didn't do it, bloop, and fucking decide we gotta do the unthinkable and nuke.
So they're gonna nuke New Zealand and fucking whatever is left in our runtime.
So our boys are again up against the clock. They're up against the fucking aliens. They're up against the degenerate knee fucking pain.
Amazing.
So, all right, so here we go. Now the counter screen is always there. And adjust because
I just want to know if they have timeouts.
they do not. So take your pee breaks before the attack. Now for this final act, we're going to get what is in effect a live action replay of the original 8-bit montage that started the movie. When the boys do succeed level by level, they do so in the 70-year-old fashion, but they're still talking shit back and forth to one another in that same way. So if you saw the 8-bit version like do a tuck and roll and shoot, the live action 70-year-old version is like, let's get back up and fucking shoot him in the face. So we're getting, again, a literal shot-by-shot recreation of the movie's opening montage, but now in real life, 70-year-old version. Okay, so they succeed level by level, side screen to side screen. 3D Contra was the fucking best. However, as they get to the quote-unquote final level, we see that there's only a very little amount of time still on the clock, but they continue to fight their way through to the very heart of the invaders. If you remember the last board, you know what I'm talking about. Just then, just as on the precipice of getting to the heart chamber, a terrifying, huge alien head burst through the ceiling, kind of looking like a red version of Ridley Scott's Alien, which it kind of did, especially on the fucking...
Based on licensing, it may or may not look like that alien.
But we first actually meet the Gomoramos, not king, like in the original video game, but the Gomoramos queen, who is now voiced by none other than Sigourney.
Yay!
She's talking shit about how, yeah, they defeated the king, but they have no chance against her. I bet a vagina. Lucky for us, though, they do. Only, though, after finally joining forces and working as a team instead of two solo acts performing at the same time. Once again, they save the day, and we cut to a live action retread of their 8.
So they make it on time, but barely?
They barely
Awesome.
fucking win the day. And then we cut immediately after the action, the live version of the video game ending. We cut to a live action retread of their 8-bit victory at the top of the movie. So you see them doing a shared interview of the pair, except they're old fucking men now. The parade, the medals, the late night talk shows. So they're on such a talk show, and they're asked, "So, boys, how does it feel to be back in the limelight again after all this time?" In unison, for the first time ever, they break the fourth wall and simply say, "Super." Cut to credits. Are we going to get a Super Contra after this? I don't know, maybe, but also as well as Contra is finally brought to live action where it has belonged. Anyone who does not think that the original concept art was based on Sly Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger was just not paying attention. It was clearly them. And this is just really coming full circle. The snake eating its own tail, just bringing a pre-established concept to reality and really giving us all ultimately that sense of kind of like that sense of relief, like a big smelly shit after a good meal.
That's top floor. Very good pitch. I have a series of questions, if you don't mind.
That's the way.
Well designed pitch. I'm very impressed.
Of course.
Question one from my executive producer, Ellis. Can they get married at the end?
A little progressive, Ellis. If we
What if we
do
just
go,
imply maybe
if
there's
we,
something
if
going on?
we do go the super contract route, we might begin with an 8-bit wedding. Who knows?
Love it.
Nothing's out of
Love it.
Nothing is right.
Sincerely, how are we doing the weapon power ups? Is it just that an army tried to fight and they're stumbling upon these very specific weapons?
100%.
Is it alien
If you
technology?
remember the video game, those power-ups, they're power-ups to their one and only weapon that was provided by the government agency. So by the time they're doing special spiral fucking flamethrower weapons and spreader shots, that's basically alien technology applied to their original armament that they walked
So
in.
you for the
So that's
film,
alien
for
technology.
the film, are we still just connecting it to this fancy gun, or are they literally picking up
Sure, I
now
mean,
an alien flamethrower that does
they
fireballs?
can take away weapons from fallen aliens, or we can do detachment.
Okay, you're kind of open to both.
I'm open to that.
Just because I love the idea of this like weird tech. Because honestly, like throwing it all the way back to the Super Mario Brothers movie, I do kind of like the idea that they were like, it's a fucking bomb launcher. Like there's something cheesy about that that I really love. Can I have, being that you get the real ending where you have them say super? Can I get a post credit scene that just shows like 24 hours later, it's back at the pool with the barbecue, except Sly is asleep. I don't want any sort of further tease than your actual ending, but I want people to wait 20 minutes in this credits to see my name 18 times to then just have a gag. Can I have a gag post credit?
So basically, you're asking for a shawarma scene
I want a
at
Swarm
the
scene.
end of Contra,
Yeah,
which folks have been waiting for since 1987.
yes, yes.
Fuck them, absolutely, you can have it. Hell yeah,
That is great. Let's make that. It's in the movie.
it's in the movie.
I do want to ask a couple sincere questions. People, let us know if you like this new visual.
Of course, I like it.
No, the
Oh,
visual.
the visual, yeah.
We changed up the
Whatever.
visual if you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, or on the Purple site, Twitch. John, you let me know if you like it after the show.
I will.
couldn't take it if you told me no. I wanted to show off Sly and Arnie's beautiful faces. People,
They are gorgeous.
the question that everyone has of the movie Falling Down to the weapon power ups perfectly. I have not seen Falling Down. Have you seen Falling Down?
Falling down.
I don't know if I've heard of it. He also mentioned some weird like vampire comic book that I now need to check it out. But you can get in on the conversation just like Ellis, just like Cousin Paul, just like the Sarge, just like all of these wonderful, wonderful psychopaths. Christopher, you're gonna have to hit rewind.
Yes. Oh, Chris, I am so envious of you that you get to rewind after this is about to end shortly and relive that amazing Contra pitch. Sadly, currently it's only in the pitch stage, but with dedicated viewers like yourself, we can make this happen.
And I suspect in my but for my brother, I of course am Charlie, and I love nothing more than soliciting
Oh,
stuff. Specifically, like us on social media, US Comics HQ across all social media. Tell your friends about the show. Hit share. Do the damn thing. If you're catching just the end of the show, we are available every single Wednesday in full audio format, or Wednesday at 8 p.m. We come to you live to all the fancy places. But John, there is truly only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast, but I'm going to need your help to get it done. So, John, do you mind doing the visual while I do the audio? Will you? I know you just sold the movie, so it might be difficult. But first, you got to turn the power on. Then you got to turn the volume. Then you got to tune bed, Marion. Open up the window wide and scream out into the night sky. Say, my space girl. We are